It's a world we've seen in propaganda films before.
This could be our last thing we do in life.
But this is an unvarnished glimpse. The rare, raw footage we've obtained shows foreign men who've travelled to Syria. It's 2013, a pre-battle pep talk by an Islamic State commander. The terrorist group has grown quickly, but its leaders want it to grow more.
We know the place, have tanks, have shell casks, have bullets, have weapons like no other place. This is a perfect place, the perfect spot to hit to build the new Dawlat al-Islam.
He's referring to the so-called Islamic State. This is an important moment for the group. The caliphate has not yet been declared, but in preparation, Europeans are being encouraged to take a more prominent role.
But they couldn't attack, so the Emir of Dawlat al-Islam, he said, we might take out the Turkish group and take in the European group.
We wanted to identify the people here, but first the location. A few landmarks helped us, the domes and buildings in the distance, the road, the fountain in the courtyard, and we matched them against satellite images from the time to trace the precise spot, a suburban villa in a small town called Haratan near Aleppo. Now look just beyond the walls, an ambulance. It's from the UK. No number plate, but the signage is just about visible. It says Scottish Ambulance Service. We try to find images of the vehicle online. This one is a match. The lettering peeled in just the same places. It was part of a legitimate aid convoy to Syria, which, according to news reports, arrived just 1 week before this video was filmed. We used the registration to find this picture online, which shows the ambulance on the streets of East Kilbride 10 months earlier.
Because they know the Amir told them to go in, so they went in.
Simply being here was not an offence. Some of the men were aid workers, some were rebel fighters. IS wasn't yet prescribed under British law. The group was in its embryonic stage. But this leader was clearly using its language as he delivered tactical instructions.
What tactic did you have? Hide behind what?
We've identified him. He's Swedish, Hassan al-Mandwawi, who left Syria to return home to Gothenburg. But he was arrested, then jailed for taking part in an execution video. And here, another Swede, known as Abu Bakr. This is him. He'd married a British woman, Khadija Dare from London, formerly known as Grace. Their son would later feature in an ISIS video. There are other Brits here too. Look at the young girl who becomes bored and seeks out her father.
We will take tents, inshallah. We will have kitchen together with
her accent suggests she might be English. One of the other men in the footage has now returned home to Europe and agrees to tell us more, but he wanted to remain anonymous. We found him in Helsinki in Finland, where terrorism charges against him were dropped.
There are people in line listening to his speech. Some of them were aid workers.
He remembers the day the footage was filmed, but says he and some of the others were there for humanitarian purposes.
There was a Scottish ambulance which was brought by British aid workers. At some point, they gave me the ambulance and we went to the refugee camps.
He says he became interested in the suffering of Syrians while he was a student in Britain.
I was studying in Manchester doing my bachelor's degree, and I remember the mosques in the area were having Friday sermons where they talked a lot about what was happening in Syria.
No surprise, he spotted the British men straight away. The girl's father was known as Ibn Ajam, he says. And this man was known as Abu Yaqub.
From what I understand, he was one of the first fighters. I didn't like his personality and his attitude. He was aggressive, humiliating the locals. Then later on, some of his friends came from England.
We believe Abu Yaqub is Nero Sareva, who we've identified from images that were taken before he left for Syria. He was a close friend of the 4 British executioners known as the Beatles. On Twitter, he even previewed one of their infamous beheading videos. It's 6 years since he left East London, and although it's not clear whether he's still alive, some family members have said they fear he might return. One sent a message to ITV News.
You don't know what he did to this family, and I pray you never get to feel the pain he caused.
There are thousands who made similar journeys, different motives, different fates, but as ISIS crumbles and the Syrian war continues, there are many whose whereabouts is not known.